All right, testing 1, 2. I believe we are up and running. Okay, so I'm jumping in a quick stream here to finish my Hurston box deliveries for the new event, the Second Life Resource Drive. As you can see, I'm just a couple hundred boxes away. Maybe one mission away. Let me, yeah, one large mission away. So let's do it. Yo, what's up? How you doing? What's going on, Jesse Italian 17? All right, let's see. I'm doing all right. You doing okay? You a Star Citizen player? All right, here we go. Alright, let's see if I can get my ship spawned here.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna retrieve.
Stand by.
I don't know. I just started 2 minutes ago, so it's going like a stream 2 minutes in.
Welcome to the ASOP
How you doing?
Vehicle retrieval system.
Now I'm gonna store. Alright. Let's see, that hopefully gave me a spot here. Alright, and we're gonna pull the ship up here instead.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system. Your vehicle has been...
Okay, this is all an effort to avoid the problems with the ship spawning incorrectly when you call it from the ASOP terminal, so there's a workaround that I should probably start utilizing. Hey, at least we have a mission. Okay, we're going to Hadley. Alright, I think I've... Oh. Did I get rid of that Atlas? Oh, it reattached. Look at that. Uh, to follow you on X account? What does that mean? You mean Twitter X? Sorry, I don't know what you mean exactly. What do you mean I didn't allow it? Oh, I'm not really like doing the follow for follow things. I can look, but I will tell you right now on X. Let me check. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything right now. I don't know why. I didn't get any notification or anything. But I can look and see evidence account that, you should be able to send me a message on Twitch is probably the best way to do it. To be honest, I get like every stream, I get pretty much someone coming in wanting to do artwork, and it's not, I keep telling people it's not something I'm looking for, so, you know, I'm happy to look at stuff and I will comment on people's art, but I'm like 0% chance hiring anything out right now, but I'm happy to look at stuff. Yeah, I can't say I remember it exactly because, like I said, every stream, this is one of the problems with streaming in Discord these days is a new channel. Like when I did my old channel, I didn't have this issue, but literally every stream or two is like someone coming in wanting to sell art services. So probably like half the followers I have right now are just people not interested really in myself or the game or what I'm streaming. They're just interested in selling their artwork. Which is fine, I get it. But I can't remember everyone individually that all they want to talk about is their art and have no interest in the stream. Not a slam on anybody, it's just the way it is. Like, that's the way it is. It's the world we live in now. My other channel I did on Twitch, I started it probably 10 years ago or something, and it just wasn't as prevalent now as it is now. So I don't quite know what to do with it all. Like, it gets a little exhausting after a little bit. I mean, if I said it on stream, go back and clip it and show me. I've never said I would definitely buy stuff from anybody. I don't use the word definite. Generally, what I say to people is that are trying to sell their art is that when it comes time and I want to make that step, like I basically tell people, send me your stuff, I want to look at it, and then when it comes time, like I probably will look for someone that's interested in the community and part of the community, and you know, give the effort, give the reward for the effort there. But you know, in the short term, I don't need anything right away. Like, I am an artist. I work full-time in the media industry. I hire artists every single day. So it's not a big need that I have to just randomly find someone. If I find someone, I want to give it to someone that is part of the community, if that makes sense. But yeah, send me a message on Twitch if you want to share links. I do try to respond and just give some quick feedback and let someone know if their style matches what I'm looking for or not. But I'm in no way committing to anyone right now that I'm hiring any artwork out ever, because as I've said to everyone that has asked, it's entirely possible next week I will close this channel and never stream on it again. Maybe next month. Like, I have no ambition or intention to necessarily grow this into a large channel. I'm really just doing this for fun right now and exploring it. So I have no plan to invest money in the art right now. My goal is to shape the branding a little bit as I can do it, and then see where it goes. If I start to pick up a community and then decide I want to keep going, then I may be hiring some stuff out, but it's very premature right now. I'm really just seeing if I can low-key meet the affiliate requirements and then make some decisions there. But I started this channel a couple of years ago, streamed for a little bit, and then abandoned it for almost 2 years. So it's very possible I will do that again. So it would not be prudent of me to make that investment right now. But yeah, happy to look at stuff. Always happy to look at stuff. Twitter is active, and I have 1 follower on Twitter, and when I click on it, it doesn't show me who it is. And I'm not new to Twitter, but I'm new to X, so it's completely possible I'm missing something. But heck, I can show you. See if this works. It might just be a white screen for you. I don't know if it'll auto adjust here. You can just go to look at it though. It's 1 follower, and for some reason when I click on it, it just says when verified accounts follows this one, they'll show up here, but it doesn't show me actually. Even if I go to, that's verified followers. If I go to followers, same thing. When someone follows this account, they'll show up here, but it's not showing it to me yet. So I don't know if this is like, the Musk era of Twitter where things don't work. But I'm not seeing any followers, even though it tells me I do have 1, which could be you. I've been streaming pretty regularly now. I started streaming with a different channel, different project a long time ago. That project has since shut down. Oh, this is not great. I wonder if I can move these things off. Yeah, these are like screwed up. Alright, I gotta go to a different elevator. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just figuring out what I want to do. When I streamed before, it was very much got to where it was a grind, and I had a very specific goals for it, and did well. And this stream, my intention is just to be more chill, more relaxed, more fun, not trying to chase after it, and just doing things for fun and being a little more low-key with it. So I don't know if it's off and on. It just depends. It could just be completely off at some point, or I could just keep going. Like I said, I'm feeling it out, testing the waters, seeing what I want to do, seeing if I can grow a community, and then decide together what we want to do. And if not, I'm totally fine, not doing any of it. Alright, is there any other open elevators? Is this one open? Maybe? Alright, we'll check it again when I can. Don't know if I can squeeze in here. Yeah, and along similar lines, like I used to, when I was on the other channel, I would be on Twitter all the time, and then I have not been on it for a long time, and a lot has changed, so I'm still kind of figuring new X quitter out. But before I could see all my followers very easily, and like I said, now when I click on followers, it doesn't show me the one follower I have. Which could be you, to be fair. But it's not showing me, and it didn't give me any notification like, you know, on TikTok I get very clear notifications of so-and-so is following you with an option to follow them back. I'm not seeing that on X. Wish I could get this Atlas off my ship. Alright, for now, I'm just gonna try to get this one mission done because that's all I need to complete Hurston. And then I can start looking at microtech. That's the goal for today. Come on, get in there. There we go. Alright, that's one elevator full. I've got to bring the elevator up 2 more times. Alright, 9 more boxes, and then we go unload. Alright, good enough. Let's get out of here. Okay, I am looking. Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't know if there's a problem with X or what, or if it's because my account, this particular account is new, but I don't see any followers. It does tell me I have 1 follower, but when I click on it, nothing. I haven't been able to look for an account yet, but I'll try looking on desktop. Maybe it'll show there. On my phone, it's not showing. Let me check. Notifications. Mentions. No. Completely blank on mentions. Yeah, so I don't know what the problem is. I will try to check. What post did you comment on? Like, what was the post about?
Engines on. Launch complete. Ending gear up.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing me anything. Setting course for Everest. July 22nd. Two days ago? Yeah, I don't know. The one that's lower personnel costs. That was posted on the 21st. Yeah, my last post on Twitter was July 21st. So I don't know if you're like, oh, it is that lower personnel cost one? I don't know. I don't see a comment there. It just has my own message. But there could be some weird things going on. I don't really know. I'll check on desktop and see if it's any different. But on phone, it doesn't show a comment there. It does show like the comment icon with a 1 next to it. But then when I click on it, it doesn't show me any comment. So, like I said, I don't know if it's just, I think Twitter's kind of gone downhill a bit, so I don't know if it's just being, you know, janky. Oh, can you not message me on Twitch? Let me know if that's not a possibility. But what and what is the goal? Is the goal like right now like just to sell art services? Because I've kind of explained my position on that. Trying to get out of here.
Quantum travel complete.
It's not obstructed.
Quantum travel complete. Quantum travel engaged. Quantum travel complete. Quantum travel engaged. Quantum travel complete. Quantum travel engaged. Quantum travel complete.
No, I mean, you can send me a message on Twitch. I'm not otherwise like looking for DMs and other places on Discord or X or anything else. I mean, I've kind of explained my position. I think I need to put a no solicitation rule on the channel because it's just getting to be a problem. And if we talked in the past, maybe I hadn't been spammed by so many like people doing the same thing, and it's just becoming super annoying, to be honest, and a bit scammy sounding sometimes. Like, I don't know, chasing someone and hounding them on stream to like DM you is just a bit cringe. And I think I have a pretty chill personality, so you know, I'm not outright just gonna be coming in and blasting people for doing that, but it's legit a bit exhausting. Like, think how long you've been here chatting with me not asking about anything going on in the game or on your screen. Like, it's all been about making me look through my Twitter profile, looking for DMs. It's just, I can't barely focus on doing what I'm doing. One 100.0000000 seconds. Very precise. It's no problem. I totally get it. Like, everyone's trying to do their thing. I mean, I'm in the same boat a lot of the times, but we got to figure out a way to communicate with people in a way that's like, doesn't seem like we're just chasing after our own self-interest all the time. You know what I mean? Like, that's the trick with humanity. Figure out, like, we're all here for a short time. A lot of us are chasing a dollar for temporary purposes, and then we're gone forever. And, you know, I think there's more we can do with the time that we have. Says the guy playing a video game on stream. There's just rafts everywhere. All you see is rafts. If the raft does not win the ship showdown coming up, like, next week, or starting next week, I don't know when it'll end. It usually lasts, like, forever. It should definitely be in the top 4. But, yeah, I think it's fine for this event, but probably points out to SIG some things they need to do differently with their ships to have a better balance between them, because right now the raft for this event is just king of all ships. Yeah, no problem, I get you. I mean, like I said, I work in media. I deal with, you know, the problem of audiences and artists and everything all day, every day, which is kind of why, like, on this channel stream, it's a chance for me to get away from that grind in the daily life, right? So I'm definitely sympathetic to the cause, and as a someone who tries to make things as well. You know, I have a background in film, I have a background in development, and it's a struggle to get work, to get audiences. It's totally a grind, but it's all also very temporary. Alright, so we gotta do the one level. You know what, I'm gonna use the ship tractor. No, I get it. No, I'm same. And you know, like I said, I appreciate the struggle, for sure. I mean, I am a creative as well, and the struggle is real. Sorry you had a bad client. Nope. Come on. Alright, let me go send this down. Sounds good, sounds good. Alright, I think we're on the last column. Or row, whatever you want to call it. Depends on which way you look at it, I guess. Alright, that should complete my Hurston level 5 resource drive event. So that should give us all the rewards. Probably quicker just to take the elevator. Love that sound. There we go. Parallax, Hurston rifle, and Hurston livery for the Caterpillar, Star Lancer, and Star Lifter. Of those, I own the Star Lancer. Star Lancer TAC. What is the Star Lifter again? Oh. That's the Hercules.
This is Hurston again. Just
Okay.
got word that the higher-ups approved a bonus to help keep you motivated. We expect you to work even harder after this. Carmichael here. Log your contract delivery. I'll mark it down as a win for Hurston.
I'm done with you, Carmichael. I'm not doing any more. Well, I might be helping some org mates get their Hurston, I guess. So I might be doing a little bit more, but I'm not doing any more for myself. So for me, I think the next corp I'm going to run up, I don't know if I'm going to go to level 5, will be Microtech. I don't think I'm going to do Crusader or Arc. I don't think those are going to be in my wheelhouse of, you know, just endurance to do the same mission over and over. And so, you know, maybe if they give us some of the other missions back, I'll pursue some others. But I think I'm not even sure I can get Microtech up all the way to the 2800. We'll see. Overall standing, like, it's still pretty much been where it's been. I think Crusaders pulled ahead of Arc a little more, maybe. But yeah, still big separations between all the divisions here. So it'll be curious to see how many people are like me, are finishing up tier 5 on Hurston and then switching to something else, and if that boosts these numbers up or change any of these. I don't know that there would be any, you know, significant amount of increase to allow anyone to take over Hurston at this point, but we could potentially see, like, if everyone finished Hurston and it was like, I'm going to Crusader, you could see Crusader take over Microtech potentially, or if everyone went to Arc, you could see Arc maybe get ahead of Crusader. I'm not sure. We'll see. But conversely, people might be finishing up the other ones and then switching to Hurston because they're like, well, that one's going to win and I want to get the black armor. So I'm going to jump on the Hurston bandwagon. So, you know, you might just see Hurston explode also as the other side of it. All right. I want to take a little bit of break from the
Just got
game.
word that you turned in that
I
contract.
did, Carmichael.
That should help Hurston gain some ground.
I want to look at the Star Citizen Live from today. I don't want to look at the whole thing. There was a really cool bit from one of the developers. I'm going to try to share here.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval. Your vehicle has been moved to our storage.
But it's going to take some putzing around on my side of the screen here because I have not set this up, and they just published it to YouTube, which is where I'm going to pull it from and try to play it. So bear with me here as I kind of set things up on another screen and figure out where this section is that I want to cover. So I gotta like figure out the developer's name because I think they bungled the introduction. I could be wrong, but when I was watching it live, I never caught the dude's name. So let me figure that out. All right, so today's Star Citizen Live was a Q&A. So the title of it is Q&A Sounding Things Out. It was with the audio team. And let me see if they mention in the description here who's on this. No, they do not. That would have been too easy. All right, so I will share my screen and we'll try to figure this out. And then I'm going to go back and give some thoughts. But my first thing is try to figure out, if you know, you guys know, let me know the name of this developer. But I'm going to try to figure this out. Let's go to studio mode here. Okay, that'll work.
Oh, you know about paradiddles, don't you?
I do. I play drums, so I try to.
You're a drummer,
Yeah.
but we're musicians on the front row.
Yeah.
Hey, hang on.
They're
talking,
Hang on.
show them.
Sorry about.
Front.
Are we on now?
Yeah, we were on.
This
Sorry,
guy.
we're talking
What's
about
this guy's
music
name?
and drummers.
He was
the reason you guys
amazing.
are talking, they're showing me.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that community. Very irresponsible of
We were
us.
just discussing the true nature of English accents here in the pre-show.
Which Jared did rather well.
Yeah. He's actually British.
I can only do the Monty Python ones. I can only do the
do it
Monty
again.
Python
Do it.
ones. The you're showing is,
Look, Sherry, we had to get out of bed half an hour before we went to sleep and lick the road clean with our tongues. And when we got home, our fathers would slice us in two with a bread knife. You try to tell the young people of that today, they won't believe you.
That is not bad. That's pretty good.
Well done.
Ah.
But it wasn't Yorkshire. I'm just going to
No,
point
it's
it
not
out.
bad for an American.
Yeah.
I think you're American.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to what show is this? Star Citizen Live. What did we call it? Sounding Things Out. Oh, I love a good pun. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee, and if you haven't seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take roughly about an hour, and at the end of certain weeks, we invite some of our developers over, take them away from the very busy work that they'd rather be doing, and make them answer questions from you, the Star Citizen community. On the show this week, a team who's always been near and dear to my heart, but we don't get to have on as often because they like to hide in their sound dampened booths
Caves.
and do their work. Members of the CIG audio team. So let's go ahead and jump on in and meet some of the folks because it's always somebody's first show. Phil, we're going to start with you just because you're elevated the highest in the field of vision right
Okay,
now.
so that's
Tell
Phil.
everybody-
That's
I
not who
wasn't
we're
gonna
talking
go
about.
that far. Tell everybody who you are and what you do for Star Citizen.
Well, my name's Phil Pierce-Smallwood.
He was really
and
good.
I'm a senior audio manager for the audio team, supporting the whole audio department to deliver on both Star Citizen and Squadron 42, but more recently been working closely with Simon to deliver on Star
Simon.
Citizen.
So, manager role now. Do you still get to do any design?
We're gonna don't worry. We're gonna
so
jump forward to the
kind of
end
moved
here in
into
a second.
That role to kind of when we had a change of leadership.
All right, I
a
think
few years back,
Simon
trying to
is what we'll go with.
build up the team.
Well,
to
let's
make
see if
sure
they
we
give
can
his last name.
logistically Deliver, being some audio content. Ooh, what did I do?
Who are you and what do you do for Star Citizen?
I'm Graham Phillipson, and I'm the what am I now?
Director of Audio Technology.
That's it. Direct the audio people to sound as good as they can. No, through the rest.
Thank you very much for having me.
And joining us for the first
I
time
hear it.
on
Hello.
any
Do we get his last
scheduled
name?
programming whatsoever.
Thank you very much for having me.
Tell everybody who
I'm
you are and
the
what you do.
audio director of Star Citizen,
Yeah.
and I'm here to just have a great time making fantastic sounds for Star.
So I think that they got kind of mixed up in the handoff there because Jarrett just said Simon from what I heard, and then the other guys like introduced themselves properly, and Simon didn't introduce himself because I think he thought Jared introduced him, so he just goes on like talking. So yeah, I don't know his last name unfortunately, and I don't know if it was picked up. Like they didn't give him a Chiron. So I feel like they should do that with all the guests, like, you know, hire one of your artists and give them, you know, a minute of work to make a updated Chiron for everybody. Like, you know who's going to be on ahead of time. Like, they had a Chiron for Jared. Kind of rude to give yourself a Chiron, like, right there.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, it just went away. So they have a Chiron for Jared, but they didn't have it for any of the guests. A little bit rude. Okay. So Simon, he was amazing. And there's an important bit toward the end he had that I think everyone should hear. So I'm going to try to find that and then talk about it a little bit, why it's important. And to do this, I'm actually going to go back and look at the stream for a second on my side.
Absolutely get that.
And I can sort of dial in where it was at a little better on the Twitch stream, but then I'll come back and play it on YouTube. Sorry, I can make that bigger so it's not so awkward looking. I think this is past the point. That may have been before this, actually. Okay, it's around here. 45.
That become boring and terrible for new hires because who wants to come in and only work on legacy
okay.
stuff?
It's actually the opposite.
Well, so the first thing is to analyse what is the legacy stuff and divide it into certain categories. For me, the priority is vehicles, so I have to analyse all the vehicles.
We'll get there. I need to find this. I'm doing this live, so
I'm sure everyone.
I gotta find the moment.
Teach suck eggs, which is the feet. Right, you know, right down to the surfaces and the soles. I'll be analysing all of the stuff. We will be analysing weapons. We're going to update all the weapons, ambiences, the ambient systems, the range systems, what happens on planets, the flora and fauna. Analysing all plus building on top of that. So it's breaking it down into its component parts, the music, the diegetic music, that how we're going to elevate the music more within the game and how it's going to react with all of the greater content that we're going to produce. So it's as if you're coming to a meal and I'm trying to pick at the little bits, right, you know, that's got to change and that course has got to be changed. No, let's not offer that salad anymore. Let's push that one away. Let's have something fresh. So it's breaking it down and analysing each thing, and then the stages of the arc of the way I want to achieve towards version 1. You know, we're in alpha, obviously. is right. I want to do that first. This is the most important thing, and I want to do this. So the first thing is vehicles, like I said.
Comment times are off.
And that will feed into the next areas I want to focus on. That doesn't mean those areas are going to be neglected, because I'm going to have a department that are going to be focusing all of it. But I need to prioritize stuff, and the way I prioritize stuff is going to be influenced by what is needed at CIG, but also what the community are upsetting about. I'm kind of not interested to hear about the stuff.
Here it is. So it's exactly at 45 minutes. And what I need to do now is figure out the offset from YouTube. So it's probably going to be around 35 or so, but let's do it this way. So let's remember, it was 45 minutes on Twitch. All right, but his Chiron is up at the 13-minute mark. So let's figure out what the time difference is here. So yeah, it's about 13 minutes. So 45, 35, maybe like 33, 32.
And that will feed into the next areas I want to focus on. That doesn't mean those areas are going to be neglected, because I'm going to have a department that are going to be focusing all of it. But I need to prioritize stuff. And
all right, that was a good part to come in. Let me find that again.
The music, the diegetic music, that how we're going to elevate the music more within the game, and how it's going to react with all of the greater content that we're going to produce. So,
all right, look, we're going to jump in there. So this is developer Simon. I don't know his last name. Let me see if I can find it on a Google search quickly. And here's what I'm going to do for now. I'm going to menu out of the game. What is it? Audio director Simon Price. I don't think that's him. So, Simon Gershon, maybe? I think that's him. All right. Audio director at Cloud Imperium Games. So, Simon Gershon. Super refreshing what he had to say. He's relatively new to SIG. He said he started in April, and Jarrett was like, look, we don't usually have people come on shows in the first 6 months. But apparently he's been such a force within the company that he's just like, it sounds like he's just impressing everybody, and they're like, we need to get him on camera. He's got a really great vision, and he was really good. I would watch, if you haven't watched today's Star Citizen Live, watch it just for Simon. Like, we need more developers like Simon at SIG. So like, I'm gonna set this up on my side. Give me 1 second here. And then we're gonna pop into this and break. I'm gonna listen to what he has to say and give my sort of reaction to it, and why I think it's so important that we hear this right now. So I want to turn this off. Chrome there. I just have to pull this video into a different scene to do this properly. I don't know why this is giving me a hard time. Okay, it's a window, my bad. Okay, let me scale this down. Okay, let me see if I do play an intro on top of this. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but I'm going to give it a go, and we're going to see. Nope, did that wrong. Trying one more time. Here's what I'm doing. I'm gonna mute desktop audio. Trying again.
5, 4, 3.
Hey everyone, this is Jackson Space. Today I wanted to look at Star Citizen's Live that came out on July 24th. Their episode was with the audio team. It's called Q&A Sounding Things Off. And yeah, we're gonna jump in and just take a look at, this is a developer named Simon. He's the director of the audio department at SIG. And hold on, I just had the audio drop out. One second. We're gonna do this intro one more time now that we have the game audio off. Bear with me one second.
5, 4, 3.
Hey everyone, this is Jackson Space. Today I wanted to do a quick video on the Star Citizen Live that premiered on July 24th, 2025. This was called Q&A Sounding Things Off. It featured the audio team at SIG. This is not a walkthrough of the whole video. There was just a very important bit from a developer named Simon Gershon, I believe his name. He's the director of the audio team at SIG. He was really good in the SEL today, so make sure you check it out. And I thought he had an important message for, you know, us as backers to hear, and it was like quite refreshing. So he's relatively new to the team, and I think Jarrett said he started in April, and then he said they usually don't have people on like videos in the first 6 months of their hire, but I guess he's been like just like a firebrand within the SIG team, and making a lot of waves and impressing a lot of people, and it sounds like he's got a lot of great ideas. And so I think they were like, yeah, let's get this guy in the air because he's fresh, and he has a really good perspective on sort of us as the backers and how we interact with the devs that I think everybody needs to hear. So that's what I'm going to focus on. I will link to the YouTube, like the Star Citizen Live, in the description when I post this on my channel, but I'm playing here from about 31:18, it looks like. So yeah, let's get this going. First of all, let me close out anything else that might be having sound going. I don't want clip 1, so I think we're good. I can just hide that. Okay, so let's just jump into it. And this is Simon, director of audio at SIG. Let me go full screen and we'll listen to what he has to say.
It's as if you're coming to a meal and I'm trying to pick at the little bits, right? You know, that's got to change and that course has got to be changed. No, let's not offer that salad anymore. Let's push that one away. Let's have something fresh. So it's breaking it down and analysing each thing, and then the stages of the arc of the way I want to achieve towards version 1. You know, we're in alpha, obviously.
Sorry, one more time. Sorry, problem of doing live production, right? I had another technical error. So one more time on the intro. Last time, I promise. I've got all my ducks in a row now.
5, 4, 3.
Okay, looks like it's working now. Here we go.
5, 4, 3.
Hey everyone, this is Jackson Space. Today I wanted to do a quick video on Star Citizen Live's premiere episode today, July 24th, 2025. This one is titled Q&A Sounding Things Out, and it focused on the audio team and some of the stuff that they've been working on and have work coming up. I don't really want to take a look at the whole Star Citizen Live. There was really just a little bit in here from this particular developer named Simon Gershon, who's the director of audio at SIG. I thought he had a really important message for us as backers to hear. And interestingly enough, he's a relatively new hire. He started in April of this year, according to Jared. And Jared went on to say they usually don't have people on live shows, within the first 6 months of their hire, but it sounds like this guy has just been like a firebrand within SIG and probably like very inspirational to people there, and just has a good vision for what he wants to do, and a lot of excitement, a lot of energy. So I think they were like, yeah, let's get this guy in front of people as soon as we can, because I think he really understands the relationship between developer and backers, and has like a refreshing take, and something, as I said, I think it's important for us to hear. So I'm just going to jump into this portion of the SCL from today. I'm starting at like the 3118. We're just going to jump in and listen to Simon, and then I will give my reactions. So here we go.
It's as if you're coming to a meal and I'm trying to pick at the little bits, right? That's got to change and that course has got to be changed. No, let's not offer that salad anymore. Let's push that one away. Let's have something fresh. So it's breaking it down and analysing each thing, and then the stages of the arc of the way I want to achieve towards version 1. We're in alpha, obviously. Is right. I want to do that first. This is the most important thing, and I want to do this. So the first thing is vehicles, like I said. And that will feed into the next areas I want to focus on. That doesn't mean those areas are going to be neglected, because I'm going to have a department that's going to be focusing all of it. But I need to prioritise stuff. And the way I prioritise stuff is going to be influenced by what is needed at CIG, but also what the community are upsetting about. I'm kind of not interested to hear about the stuff that's good. I really need to react to the stuff that people are disappointed with. And then...
Bam. That is the truth right there. So I did a video maybe a week or two ago, my first podcast in what I'm calling my like Fixing Star Citizen series. So check that out in there. But basically I said this exact thing at the intro because I was talking about the new inventory system, right? And I was like, there's some good parts to it, but I feel like there's not a lot of value in just talking about the things that are working okay and well. Like really the things that we need to focus and give feedback on are the things that aren't working well. So in that video, I broke down 3 areas of the inventory concept that they had shown on the previous SCL that I thought didn't seem very well thought through, or might have some challenges that need to be overcome. And to me, like, I mean, I have a background in development, and I have a background in media. And yeah, what I want is the feedback on things that need to be improved. I don't really need someone to come to me and be like, that part's working good and looks good. Because I know the parts that I, are working well, right? Anytime you're working on anything, like, the parts that are succeeding generally. And while it might be nice to have those kudos, like, it's not helpful. And this is the first time in a while that I remember a developer coming out and just telling us, like, I don't need to hear the good. I need to hear the things that are broken that need to be fixed. And this is an important message, because I feel like in the Star Citizen community, so often if you try to say anything that's like, hey, this thing isn't working the best, you just get a flood of hate by like all the white knights, right? That are like, leave SIG alone. Like, they everything they do is amazing. There's no room for critique. And what they don't realize is, like, just because we have feedback and critique and pointing out things that are broken doesn't mean we're not fans of the project. In our view, it's exactly what Simon's saying. We think we're being more helpful by providing feedback on the things that aren't working that really need to get fixed ASAP. And it's so refreshing to hear this reinforced by a developer at SIG. I think they need to have more of this messages, because all the white knighting does not help them at all.
And I can get a better game, really. I know what's good.
Yeah.
So don't tell me what's good.
Yeah, don't tell them what's good.
To expand on that, and something you touched on, Jared, is because we're able to now increase the team, we'll be building the team to be able to look at early concept work. So getting in early doors with new features, content, mechanics, and whatnot. We'll have people be able to focus on the here and now. What is the current release? Seeing that through, and have the people then to go off and look at all the legacy content, actually do all those backlog fixes. But we're very fortunate as a department to be in a period of growth and to be able to facilitate that. Whereas in the past, we may have not had the resources just to focus on the here and now and not address the backlog or not jump on the things earlier on.
And one thing I'd like to say is that the backlog is fun, right? Because there's nothing a sound designer likes more than working on a finished product. There's all these ships that are ready to go that sound designers would absolutely love to get their hands on, given time and schedule, to make them sound amazing.
You tell me it won't change? Yeah.
Schedule is a theme that comes up often, and this discussion and discussions from all over in terms of SIG. So, and it's constantly one of those things you hear in the discussions online, like, why is this taking so long? There's 1,000 developers, right? But yet at the same time, it always feels like they only have a handful of people working, and like there's all these bottlenecks where things get stacked up. So I don't know what the solution is for that, but they got to find a way to do more things simultaneously and get them done quicker, because right now it seems like it's very linear production where it's like we're working on one thing and then we finish that and then we can go on to something else. Like, as much as SIG has talked about it, it seems like simultaneous development has never really happened that well. Like, where's engineering? Like, engineering was supposed to be here in December, and now we have all these events, and it's hard to believe that all these events are not delaying engineering coming in, right? So there's this idea that you will hear from like the White Knight community of like, well, the people doing this aren't involved in doing that, so they can still. But if you ever read the monthly reports, it's always like all these teams are like, well, we had to go support this other team doing this, so we couldn't do the thing that we were supposed to do. And it feels like that's always the case. And so it seems like every little feature in Star Citizen takes 1 or 2 to 3 years to develop on its own, and then it just makes me worried about the 50 features we don't have yet. Are those all going to take 2 years, and are they going to be linearly stacked on top of each other so that we don't get the finished full game till we're all dead?
Yes. Amazing.
Exactly.
You mentioned Foley. Bound's question here is, are there plans to improve the audio for SCU containers? It sounds like they don't weigh anything at all or are completely empty when you bump into them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plans for everything. I love when they ask these questions. Is there plans for? The answer is yes. Okay. There's anything you can imagine. The answer is yes. They have a plan for it eventually. Now, like I said, I'm not covering the whole Star Citizen Live, but I think there's one more point that Simon gets to here in the next couple minutes or so. I think that I wanted to include in this video, so I'm gonna let it keep going, offer a little bit of feedback here and there, but I really want to get to this point of the developers interaction with the backers in the community and what they need from us. And I think he had one more bit of information on that, if I'm not mistaken.
Everything's going to be addressed. The weight of everything, the weight of objects is going to be addressed. The way we react with anything in the world and in the game world is going to be changed so that it feels real, obviously, and stylized within the framework of a game. Yes, that will be addressed.
Yeah, I think that's an extreme example, but when Simon first came in, he gave a demonstration of the kind of things he would want to do to the sounds of Star Citizen, and it was absolutely amazing. But the one word that I think I would take away from it was weight. It was like giving all the doors weight, all the ships weight, just giving the whole game more audible weight, and making things feel more real through it.
So I'm asking another question here.
Me?
Yeah, it's for all of you. I'm going to insert another one here. Downstream dependencies. Audio.
That's one for you.
Audio is historically last in the chain. It's almost everybody else has to do their thing when you're building a new piece of content, when you're building a new asset or whatever, before you can even start, before you can really get going. You can maybe do some previs and it's like that, but you can't really get going until almost everybody else has done their stuff. And Star Citizen has a history of, well, we work until the last minute and before we kick something else. So how do you I could see the Vietnam flashbacks happening here. How do you work like that?
I mean,
How do you manage
there's
that?
an inevitability to that sound. It's not exclusive to this company, not exclusive to this style of creativity. It happens a lot because, you know, our visual intelligence is far greater than our sonic intelligence. And, you know, what we see first always comes first. And traditionally, the visual element of any creative product generally comes first. And now how do we deal with it being at the end? Well, we just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but we don't start a game with the sound. We start a game with the vision. And
Speed of light is faster than speed of sound. That's what it comes down to, right?
with the visuals rather, and we're just at that stage, and we just work alongside each other, and we're going to be working alongside each other much more, the different departments, so that we can be organic together. It is unfortunate, but that's what happens. We can't really change that, and it's stressful, and we have to run at the 11th hour. But that's unfortunately what happens.
It's always a race between audio and VFX.
Yeah.
Or who's the last person to touch a thing? Well, the reason I was thinking about it because the next question from Vandred says, we've received VFX passes to OMSCI 4s, CF 337 Panthers and stuff, but no audio. You know, pass on these. The VFX have changed, and now maybe the audio. I think you're suggesting the audio doesn't quite match up with the what you would expect from what they're seeing. So, does the tail wag the dog here when VFX are like, oh, our schedule allows us to go back and tackle this of the backlog? Do you now have to? Oh, okay. Well, if you're going to do that, we now have to adjust our backlog stuff. How do you manage this?
To some extent, yeah. We have to respond to changes in the visuals, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, this is just general development, cycles, right? Like, of course, the audio team needs to design the sound after they see the visual, because the visual so much of the time informs the audio. You have to see a door opening to see what the materials are. What does it look like? Then infer like what it might sound like. Same with like this laser gun they're talking about. You wouldn't want someone to design, not always, there are exceptions to this rule, but you wouldn't generally want someone to design a sound for a gun and then have to have the people visually make a gun that matches that sound. You want to make the gun be functionally and aesthetically what it needs to be, and then the audio is going to come in after and figure out, well, what would something like this sound like? What are the properties of this thing? Same with visual effects. I mean, there's a way, it is what it is. This should be pretty straightforward for anyone trying to imagine these scenarios.
And we don't always have time to respond to them in the schedule that it's it's happening in for the visual.
There's
teams.
a schedule
That's
issue
why we're
again.
lucky we're a live product, because we've always got another release further down the line where we can make these changes. But I think for us, it's we can't schedule exactly in line with VFX, because VFX are only one element of the game that needs a sound treatment, and there are so many other elements that are all asking for the same support at the same time.
But ship weapons is also another key area of focus for us. Is we're really focusing on the ship experience, and ship weapons is one of that. A key part of that, and we're building out resources to elevate all the ship weapons for the ships, so it's a much better experience.
Well, I know we've got Ship Showdown coming up. It starts sometime soon. I don't know when, but Ship Showdown is this thing where the backers get to vote on their favorite ships and whatnot. You were talking about listening to the community, maybe.
Raft should win Ship Showdown, at least top 4.
But they're literally going to vote. People are literally going to vote for the most important, their favorite ships.
Cool.
Oh, when's this?
It starts when? 29th. This month? Yeah. Starts the 29th of July.
Oh, that'd be interesting to hear.
Would you believe I work in marketing?
I mean, if the Raft does not win a Ship Showdown that is starting in July with this event still going on, it's just people are not voting accurately. Like, the Raft is the hero of this event, and you can argue if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it should certainly show up, I feel like, as a strong contender in the Ship Showdown.
More Caffeine says the Volt guns sound brilliant. Just a casual.
Yeah.
And the Volt.
all the audio updates recently are amazing, and you know, I will talk about like the end when I'm wrapping up. I wasn't thrilled that they were doing a Star Citizen Live on the audio team, and I still have some issues with that. But that's not to take anything away from the audio team itself. They've been doing a great job. All the new weapons sound amazing. I've really been appreciating, like, when you're in the landing zones now, you hear, you know, like sort of these narrative bits about the resource drive event, and then you also hear like all the people in the medical facilities mad about the regen crisis, and that's been cool, like just to see that world building through the narrative teams and the audio teams working together.
Guns do sound cool. Thank you. It's so weird a lightning-based gun would sound cool, but
Well, we've got a really talented team there. They put a lot of effort into that.
we're going for gravitas and presence of weapons, so that's good to hear.
McSpaz has another question in here. What is the difference between Star Audio and the realistic audio mode?
It might be easier to list the overlaps because they're very different things.
Okay.
So Star Audio is effectively a kind of middleware replacement. It's not going to replace Wise, which we will always use, at least for the time being, to play back our sounds, but it's a replacement for the glue between game systems and the audio system that then allows a lot more freedom to sound designers to do whatever they want. So where existing ways of hooking sounds up to things are quite prescriptive, you might look at an animation and say, I want this animation to play this exact sound from the library. What Star Audio does is it allows you to basically just flag the fact that that animation has played and leave the decision on what the sound does down to the sound designer, and they can then make that contextual if they want. They can add logic, they can do all kinds of different things. We can also do things like passing events down hierarchies at runtime. So I always use this example, but if somebody's holding a weapon on the hip and they're piloting a ship and the ship gets hit by a missile, we can make the gun on the hip rattle because the ship got hit, because there's a hierarchy that's being tracked at runtime, which we never had before.
I just want my boxes to be able to come up in the elevator or put them down in the elevator, but this does sound really cool.
With the old systems. So there's a lot more contextual information available to all the sounds, and the realistic mode is kind of a subset of that, a sort of microcosm of that whole ecosystem, which is basically listening to whether there's any audio pressure between the listening device, the ears, and the sound emission device.
So he's talking about this idea in the game that there's basically going to be two audio systems. Like, one is what we have now, where you have, you hear explosions in space. And the way I've always understood it, and maybe they haven't talked about this in a long time, I don't know if it's still the vision, is that you're actually hearing simulated sounds, that some technology is being able to detect the radio and other, light waves around and converting that into sound, like something that we do in the real world, and that we're hearing like a simulation of those sounds. I don't know if that's technically like in the lore of the game right now what it's supposed to be, and I don't know how that works. Like if you have a helmet on, you have it off, like things should sound differently, but that's what we have. Like we have sort of unrealistic sound, and it needs some sort of hand wavium to explain why it's there, whether it's in lore or not. And what they're talking about is having also a more realistic sound mode that you could enable, where then like maybe you don't hear those explosions in space, but you hear the vibrations in your ship and things like that, which is all well and good. But in a game as complicated as Star Citizen, do we want to maintain like two different audio systems? I don't know that that's the best. My perspective on Star Citizen after 13 years of development and things just getting more and more and more complicated is like, maybe we need to start making things more simple, right? Like we don't need 5 inventory systems. We need one good one that works. We don't need 3, 4, 5 different audio systems. We need like one system that works. So that scares me a little bit, and what they're discussing here now.
Which may be a ship or a weapon or whatever. Yeah. It's kind of like the realistic mode is a sort of first use of what Star Audio does, it's our use of what Star Audio does, but it's got much more aesthetic presence, I think, to the player, which is why I think it's something that people are very interested in. But Star Audio is the tech behind that thing.
Vibration's a pretty important aspect of sound. I think it's one of those things, like obviously anybody that works in the industry, I said it, and all three of you, nodded in exact thing, but
Because,
it's not a thing that most common folks ever consider, just how important vibration is.
I mean, technically, all sound is vibration. So I think it's inherent in, people that do audio for a living. They understand the like how important vibrations are. It's kind of weird. That's why they're all nodding their heads. They're like, that's what we're talking about.
It's
So
hugely
just go-
important for. Sorry.
Go home and slam your kitchen door and
your
listen
eyes.
to what happens to all the stuff on your shelves and in your cutlery drawer and all that kind of thing. That's the experience we're going for. And I know that's just like a sort of small example of it, but it should be exactly the same if your ship gets hit by anything, or if it gets if a force upon it, which may be gravity, it may be extreme G from performing a maneuver.
Sounds really cool.
You want all these things to be straining every single part, that maybe parts that aren't intended to move, but definitely the parts that are as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complicated thing to achieve, and we're thinking about it all the time. It's not just a case of just adding metal rattling or a bit of low frequency vibration. We want to bring more to it. I mean, we're considering haptic stuff as well. We want to really consider it from now and build for the future. It's not just a case of noise. It's beyond that. And like Graham says, everything in life has vibration attached to it, because a sound wave moves objects in different ways, and the reflections of those objects affect us in all manner of ways. And we want to bring that experience.
Almost say that vibrations resonate with us.
Yeah. Nice one.
Say that.
Well, you could almost.
Don't say that when we go live.
I shouldn't, don't do that. But I think a big part of it is action and reaction. Like, we can do all the cool sound design in the world and put it in the game, but it would only really give you so much level of immersion. It's more about how does that sound propagate in the 3D space, and how does that affect everything else? So this inheritance system where it allows impulses to be passed from an event to everything that's connected, and have that all have appropriate vibrations, down to the tightest zuzz to the big flappy vibration stuff, will really just be...
Yeah.
That's your big immersion silver bullet.
It's going to affect everything. It's almost like a force that surrounds us in the universe that we can't see. But it's, to pardon stealing from another title, but fundamentally that's going to affect the way we perceive the audio, is with this vibration system, and coining it as a vibration system is almost slightly inaccurate.
It's almost limiting, because what we're actually building is a resonance system, and it's not just about making things vibrate, because other things that they're physically connected to can vibrate. If we go back to the example we talked at right at the beginning, where we've got ship flyovers, there's a heck of a lot of force coming off that thing, and if you've got anything on the ground that can rattle as that thing flies over, we're going to make it rattle.
All my bottles that I've left all over the ship.
But I swear to you,
Star vibration.
I'm feeling those good vibrations.
one more and I'm going to choke you out.
Sacral vibrations. What are we doing?
I choked Alberto out earlier in the year, and it's been an emoji on Teams since then.
Do it.
You literally sat down today and weren't in that chair for 30 seconds before you started clinking your soda can on the table. Go to the 3-shot.
Give us a live demo, Graham.
You can take the audio guy out of the audio room, but you can't take the audio out of the audio guy.
Shapang.
We're going to use that sound.
Vec says, or asks, no, he just says. I don't think there's no question here. Local ambient sounds at locations are awesome, but I feel like the game lacks large-scale ambient soundscapes. It would be awesome to be on the outskirts of a city and hear the hustle and bustle in the distance with traffic, sirens, speaker announcements, etc., or to pick up background radio chatter when approaching a spaceport or space station. He has no question here.
But it would be awesome, and we do agree.
If it were a question, no, I mean, gosh, that's more complicated than the question would suggest. Because when you come away from a large area of noise like a cityscape, I mean, what do we want to hear? If we're travelling around it, do we want to hear the sirens? I mean, there's so much different propagation, echo and reverb going on there. Without it sounding like mush or just noise. I mean, it's an interesting consideration, and of course we would consider it, because when you pull away from a cityscape, you need a sound. But actually, how we focus on that is complicated, because it's not, we would deal with it in a linear way, in a different way we would in an immersive way in a game. So I mean, I haven't really thought about this yet.
It's almost where you tackle it like LODs,
But
at distance. So when you're
that makes
at
sense.
0 point, when you're in the point of interest, like Area 18.
So LODs are level of detail, usually talking about like loading textures in. So in real simple terms, when something's also talking about the level of fidelity in 3D models, so how many polygons they have. So something that's further away, it can use lower resolution textures, and it can be lower polygon model. And then as that object gets closer and bigger in the screen, it dynamically switches to a higher resolution mesh and higher resolution textures. And they're sort of making this analogous to the world of audio, it sounds like, where let's let him finish his thought here.
Or Lorville, a lot of the stuff you'll hear is bespoke and discrete. It's coming from 3D emitters or volumes we put down there, or it's attached to a ship that's flying by. So everything's of the space of what you can see, hear, and feel. And then when you're at mid-distance, we can take that and put in designed content that is like a consolidation of that. And then scale it of what it would sound like at distance.
Yeah.
But Graham's worked on grouping systems and stuff, where we can take, if you've got 3 sound sources, it will know they are the same brush or the same sound source, group them together, and then allow it to play, switch to a group sound version of that, rather than 3 discrete sources.
Yep.
So we can leverage technology like that.
Yeah, so one of the features in Star Audio is this ability to basically convert a sound that's too far away from you to be heard into a statistic that feeds into another sound. So if you think of the city, then you might have lots of vehicles moving around in there, like you say, sirens going off, all these kinds of things. And we can use those statistics without playing all those sounds and creating cacophony. We can use them to decide what sound we should play in their place.
Because we have to make choices. It's not just a case of when you pull away from an environment, we're going to just roll off the top end and give you reverb and make it mushy sounding. We've got to actually pinpoint which are the POIs which you'd want to be sustained orally out of that environment, and then we'd have to respond to stuff that's giving lights or movement. I mean, it's difficult. It's an interesting question because the challenge is quite difficult.
Tie into time of day and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right, so we've got roughly 10 minutes left. There's a couple more questions I want to get to, so let's see if we can't lightning round some of these. We mentioned Atmos earlier. Cabbage says, will there be options for stereo, 5.1, etc. in the game? Like they can just set the different.
Yes.
Already are, right?
Yeah. So right now it's fully automatic based on what your PC is set to. Effectively, we have some reports that doesn't work, and in development now we have the ability to just choose what you want from the drop-down menu, and that I think it just needs an integration, so it should be something we can get into the next release.
Nice.
We'll say one of the next releases.
One of the next releases.
Yes, because I've worked here for a long time.
Yes. Next major release.
Coming in 2026.
No.
Are there plans? This was also from Bound. Hey, you got 2 in there.
2 in.
Are there plans to replace the footstep sounds? It sounds the same almost everywhere and does not match the ground and floor often.
Good question. Yes, absolutely. We're going to replace as much Foley as I see fit. I wanted to have weights, correct resonance, the correct surface.
So I found this was interesting because there seems to be this. There's 2 ways to think about the footsteps. One is it actually immersive, footsteps that we just hear ourselves walking on different surfaces. There's also the gameplay side of it where I'm like, this is a big thing in FPS games sometimes where stealth is a consideration. Like it's not just footsteps for the sake of footsteps. It's footsteps as a counter to stealth gameplay, right? Or a counter to like you're wearing heavy armor, so you're going to be clunking around more. So they have to balance that out. They can't make it where you're walking on carpet and now it's super just totally silent if that's also intended to be, if footsteps are intended to be part of the gameplay for PvP. So it can't be just fully one way or the other, it sounds like, and that's going to be it's not as easy as it sounds to just be like, well, I'm walking on a wood floor, so I do this sound. I'm walking on a metal floor, I do this sound. They have to also consider the PvP aspects and how, if the footstep sounds are part of that gameplay.
Correct. So, and yes, that is a definite. That's one of the systems, like I said, I'll be looking at.
This issue is compounded by a bug that I happened to fix just the other week
Well done,
in a development stream where the materials.
Graham.
Yeah, it is convenient, isn't it?
Convenient.
The materials weren't being picked up correctly from the render mesh, so we are now probing the render mesh correctly. We know what material we're on. That fix will be coming in an upcoming release.
There you go. In an upcoming release.
Well played. Well played.
Because I'm here, it'll be coming
He's a
quite
quick
quickly.
learner.
Yeah.
He's a quick
So you
learner.
won't have your feet sounding like you're walking on a piece of cheese.
It's not cheese, it's metal.
It'll be
Metal dense
it'll be-
is
yeah.
everywhere.
Somebody in the chat, Bluesminx, says, we talked about all the different alarms for damage states and stuff. They're like, Jared, ask them about self-destruct audio alarms. Dare you?
Do we still do self-destruct?
We did it years ago.
Yeah. I don't think they
Still
play
do?
anymore. But you got that classic Star Trek thing where you set the self-destruct.
Yeah.
And you just got this ship will self-destruct in. Although we don't make them wait like 5 minutes to self-destruct.
There is some audio when you turn on self-destruct. I think it just says like self-destruct initiated or something like that.
Their ship. So an audio alarm for that is going to be pretty quick. But
I've always had time to get out of my ship.
We should, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
people
let's
have
do
paid
that,
good money for
guys.
these ships.
Self-destruct,
Why would they want to blow them up?
for.
Exactly. Why would they want to destroy
Have you played the game?
them?
I mean, it's one of those things. I wouldn't mind. If you do need a voice for that, like that's one of those ones I wouldn't mind to volunteer. Just like when somebody sets it up and you just hear my voice screaming through the noise system. Hopefully, asshole, gonna blow the ship, run!
Only
No,
if it's in a
please
Cockney
no.
accent, Jared.
Yeah, do you
Yeah.
Cockney accent?
Oh, Miss Poppins! Oh
Mr.
no!
Poppins.
That's my self-destruct voice, and I've
You-
now offered it
and you
freely
eject
to the
with an
community.
umbrella.
You can set it to voice
Gravity.
attack or whatnot, and when you use your self-destruct, you're welcome to play
No.
that.
No, thank you.
Gravity umbrella.
I'll use my one swear. I gotta be on the watch for the next few minutes. Viper says, currently the sound of a Polaris or an Idris hovering over the ground is almost silent. Will we see improvements to this aspect of audio as sometimes we walk outside a location and there's just a big hovering Polaris and I didn't even hear it because it was almost silent?
I mean, this feeds into the engaging with the flybys. The short answer is yes.
Yeah, we were talking about it just this morning again.
Yeah, but we obviously the weight and but I mean, feed more into that question.
Yeah, we need
Yeah.
smarter ways to tie into that context,
Yeah.
so you get the whole kind of brown out, white out, hovering experience, but in a way in which it is not paralyzing if loads of people decide to hover around where you are on an outpost or whatever, and it's just completely dominating. So we need to.
Yeah, like for me, a lot of these things sound amazing, sound really cool, but I don't like. They haven't. Like, I don't feel like I'm missing it right now. It's like a lot of times with audio, I feel like you appreciate it when it's there, and when it's done well, you don't really notice it. So maybe when it's not there, it's not so much that you feel like it's missing until like you do experience it. So and it's one of those things that's like a nice to have, not a must have. I'll fold that into like my discussion at the end, but suffice it to say, like, yeah, it sounds amazing. If you go out and there's an Idris, like you should definitely, probably hear some sound from that and have some effects from that.
Be smart about how we do it, but you absolutely want to hear the weight and presence of that
Yeah.
above you.
Yeah.
Plus the war horns.
And
Yeah.
Womp womp.
I don't want this all to be about yes we are. Is there one where I can say no?
Blues.
Yeah, that is a problem. Like everything's a yes. Like I said, any are you working on or will we do question is like yes eventually.
He says,
Love when I have to force Jared to ask the question that needs to be asked.
you force me nothing. I do what I want. There we go. Here we go. You want to say something? No?
Yeah.
Should I ever ask another Blues Minx question ever again?
Nope. There you
Ooh,
go.
Done.
rough,
A well-balanced
rough.
interview.
Great community engagement, Simon.
I can't ever ask a question. Jared will never say my name on stream. What's wrong with your name? Bindi Rover? Oh.
Well, you said it.
You fell for it. Intentionally.
I wish that was a bit. I actually did fall for it.
Did you?
That's not fair.
I wish that was a bit.
That bit
Well,
out.
you've used your one swear now, Jared.
Achilles Stick says, will music work for groups eventually? Like traveling the Pyrogate, it's not only the pirate that hears the music.
Pilot.
Yeah, absolutely. So, unfortunately, we were quite rushed on the jump point music design for that.
Yeah, anything like whenever you try to do something in a group in this game, you realize like for an MMO, it is ridiculous how little is designed for group gameplay. It's really one of my biggest frustrations. Like almost everything you do in a group is a penalty in a lot of ways. It's almost like better to play the game solo, which is just wild for an MMO.
Jump points was a whole thing. Ideally, the music experience should be for the ship and all the occupants inside that ship, because you're all experiencing that together. But I think at the time we had to tie it to, are you flying the ship?
I think a lot of the logic is associated with the ship pilot.
Yeah, a lot is tied to the ship pilot. Like it drives me crazy that, if someone's in my hangar and I pull a ship out, they can't get in it and take off. Like I have to go get in the seat and call for takeoff, let the hangar open, then I have to get out of the ship, they can get in and take off. It used to be the case in the game a long time ago that we could call ATC from our Moby Glass and open the hangar without being in the ship. I wish they would bring that back. But there's so many things like that where it's like, this is a single player game, like whether it's job orders, refinery orders, to some degree, the way missions rewards are divided up and stuff like that. Like it's just very much a single player game right now.
And then like anyone who is a passenger is both actually a passenger and metaphorically as well in this sort of sense, and I think we just need to be able to figure out how to hook them into that.
Yeah, we've got future improvements planned. They'll come in a release soon.
We can probably fit 2 or 3 more in. Sheep Just Got Real says, are there any interesting stories behind the creation of some of the sound effects used in the verse?
Nah.
I've got one.
You got.
Yeah. So, because I've been here for so long, I've been very fortunate
It's
to have...
been 84 years.
I've had 2 beautiful children. Well, not me, my wife has. But I took the heartbeat of their pregnancy scans, and I put my eldest son on one of the hospital monitors in one of the hospitals. Where is that? I'm not sure which location it's in. And then the younger baby, their heart beat is on one of the other ones. So they live in the game, which is pretty cool.
That's cool. That's cool.
I like he said, I have 2 beautiful children. Oh, well, no, my wife does. You don't.
No, she gave birth to them. I didn't have them. No, she did all the hard work.
And lastly, I lost it. There it goes. Warhead 64. What can the community do for you to make your job easier? Okay,
here we go. So it's a long stretch between those 2 questions. I'll probably clip this up a bit when I'm going to push the video on YouTube. But we're finally getting back to the community aspect that I wanted to talk about. So let's hear what Simon has to say here, and the other guys if they chime in.
Tell us what you want. Communicate with me and us.
You're going to get so much communication.
I don't mind. I want communication. It's a 2-way street.
Yeah.
Bro, it's so refreshing to hear. Yeah, keep going, preach.
2-way pipeline. So yeah, communicate with us. Reach out to us. I'm here to. When I've got time, I'll want to engage with you. I don't want there to be non-engagement. I think engagement for me is a great creative tool. So I want to be, and my ears are no better than your ears. And what you hear, I want to hear what you're not hearing. I want to hear what you would like to hear. All of these things are valid.
Again, he's dialed in 100%. And this is something I'm so glad he's laying this out for all of us, because again, this is something where if you're someone who dares to, offer feedback and sometimes criticism on the game, like you'll hear a lot of the White Knights come in and say like, well, they're professionals, they're developers, they know what they're doing. You don't, have their experience. You don't you aren't able to peek behind the veil and see what's happening. So I've had people say to me like, we really can't offer them any feedback because we don't know like all the ins and outs of what's going on behind the scenes, which is just ridiculous. So here's a guy saying like, your ears are just as good as my ears. Like, I want your feedback. I want to know the things that are going wrong. And to me, this should be SIG's policy for all their developers, and everyone should have this same perspective, because that's what is helpful and what helps the game get made. And I hope like some White Knights like do see this and realize that people, like, just because somebody has some things that you could say are negative when they're giving some criticism on the game, as long as they're doing it in a way that is respectful and mature and not just slamming and ranting and being like a despicable person and just hating. There are people that support the game, are fans of the game, like what SIG is trying to do, but we have some problems with the way they do it. Sometimes we have some problems with their communication, and we don't think that they're infallible. Like, just because you support something doesn't mean you have to be blindly loyal. And you actually, the challenges that you offer, if you're doing it in a way that is fair and respectful, is what helps make things better. Like, everything in life only gets better through like the efforts of struggle. Like, that is just a true reality of life. And it's true. It's amazing like how true it is like in different areas. Like, it's true like in macro areas, like, when did US economy like really boom? Well, it was like during and after World War II, because that forced us into ways of doing production on scales that we hadn't done before. How do you get stronger physically? Well, you go and you work out in a gym and you actually break your muscles down and then they rebuild stronger, right? How do you sharpen a knife? Well, you get another piece of metal and you scrape it against it. Like, it's just a basic reality of the world we live in, that left to their own, things get softer and weaker. And it takes effort and struggle and work to make something get stronger and better. And so that's what a lot of us who offer criticism towards SIG is, our goal is not to just tear it down, but to point things out that really need attention and focus and priority to help things get better.
Observation, so reach out.
I mean, we're fundamentally making the game for the community, for the backers.
There you go.
As we're building the team, we're going to be putting more time into being on Spectrum and listening to what they like, what they don't like.
Very good, very good.
But I would ask, please do shout about any audio issues that you come across, because a lot will swing past us and we won't catch them. Even our talented QA team won't catch them because we can't test every.
Well, let's not mention QA. I think we are QA.
Context there is, but as soon as there is an issue like a ship stops making a sound, if we've not caught it, please just shout about it and we'll get onto it.
Bugs, we're not deliberately planting bugs. Bugs are an inevitability of development. We're in alpha. It's a deep game. I mean, we will fix things all the time. We're there to fix the bugs and make things better. We're not making you trip up deliberately, but obviously, like Phil says, reach out. But we have, a dedicated QA, and we've got a department, searching all the time to fix this stuff, and we're doing it.
Chat is asking, how do they reach out? So obviously,
What's
Spectrum, post on Spectrum, the Ask a Dev threads, subforums. But
there you go.
I'm going to encourage you, because Simon doesn't know what he's getting into. This is his first show here. I'm going to encourage you to send mailed letters to Simon Gershon, care of Cloud Imperium Games, 6 Goods Yard Street,
there we
Manchester.
Had his first name and last name there.
M3
3BG.
3BG.
M3 3BG. Send your letters. I will ensure
Send him a thank you letter for real.
that they get to his desk and the next time he's on this show, I want to see I want to see a
Then you
mailbag.
actually have to bring your
I want a
sack.
Phil Simon sack.
I've already got a sack
Mail.
of sound. I need a sack of mail. Don't do joined up writing. Have difficulty reading nowadays.
Help me, Phil Simon sack with mail.
Yeah, within reason.
You think as though Simon will love that.
I will. Sorry. But give me a little bit of space. I do need to develop a game here as well, by the way.
Well, so that's the beauty of the physical mail. You can open it.
Did
and
my
read it if
Birmingham
you
accent slip out?
You can
again
take it
there?
home.
yeah.
And,
Oh,
read it on the train. Whatever.
Yeah.
Can't develop
Imagine
for all
reading
these
on the
letters.
Yeah, all these letters that the fans like. Right,
All right. I'm gonna ask.
that's not the end.
That's the end.
That is
That's
the
it.
end.
Congratulations. You survived your first SCO.
It's fun.
I told you it'd be okay. I've never.
Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted to go over. I thought Simon was amazing. And yeah, mostly just the openness and the solicitation for feedback, specifically on the things that are wrong. It's so refreshing to hear, because I feel like there's so many parts of the community that are just way defensive. And I get it, because, you know, we live in this world where everything is polarized. And it feels like with Star Citizen, you got the two extreme camps, right? There's like the one side who they think this is all a scam, and everyone has, not everyone, but like people at the top have ill intentions. And if you are supporting this game, you are sort of complicit in a scam, especially if you're creating content and things like that. And then on the other side, you have the white knights who are like, you can't say anything bad about SIG ever. There's no room for criticism, and it's not fair, and leave them alone. And I'm in between, right? I think there's a large, sane middle ground where hopefully a lot of us live. And, you know, there doesn't need to be this idea that because we disagree with someone that person is my enemy, right? And that's what I see too often, like in community discussions, is someone offers a critique, and then someone who's on one side of the spectrum is like, okay, that person must be on the opposite side of the spectrum and they are my enemy. It doesn't need to be like that. Like, we can just be fans of the game that have, you know, some disagreements on some things, but we're all, you know, supporting the game. And hopefully, like, most of us are all decent people. Like, it's not like if someone disagrees with you that they're a terrible person, right? And that's what I see too much in this game. So I think we should take Simon as like this breath of fresh air that says, look, it's okay to give feedback on things that are broken and wrong and bad. And actually, he's saying that is more valuable than giving feedback on things that are good and working. He actually said, don't tell me about the things that are good. I know what is good. So I think if like the whole company can adopt this attitude, it would do a lot of healing with the community, just to say like, look, guys, it's okay for people to give us some harsh feedback sometimes, because that just shows that they are passionate, they care, and they want this project to succeed and to be better, and that we need to be better, and we get it, and we're working on it, and here's the things we're doing. I think there's nothing wrong with that perspective, and I think SIG needs to do that, more of that type of communication. And on my last note here on that type of communication, I mentioned when, you know, I heard they were doing an audio focused SCL, I wasn't like thrilled, and it's nothing to do with these guys. Obviously, I love the audio in the game. I love this team. I really love like being introduced to Simon and think he's amazing. But coming at a time when there's so much wrong with the game right now, with this event that's going on, it just felt like there's more important things we could be communicating about, or, you know, or do this, but give us some of the other communication first, even if it's not an SCL. Now, I have been advocating that, like, and what I was saying, like in chat, if you watch, is like, you know, it would be better from my perspective to have Chris Roberts or Benoit or Rich Tyler come out and be on SCL and hear an update from those guys. And there was someone in chat like arguing back with me, and we finally did get some middle ground. Like, there are sometimes you can find people that will listen, and you can get to a middle ground where you see each other's perspective. And then, like, sort of after that conversation took place in chat, like Jared did say, Benoit will be coming into an SCL in the next couple weeks or so. I don't know exactly when it'll be. But yeah, my point was like, look, hey, if you go out and tell people at the beginning of the year, like, we're going to use the tech preview channel a lot this year, and then that's never happened. Or if you say it's going to be the year of stability and playability, and you do an event that is built around elevators that don't work, that's a problem. If you go on, CitizenCon and say all these features will be available in the next 12-ish months, and then that doesn't happen, it's okay for us to expect like an update on those things. Because what I was saying was like, I don't think it's unreasonable to bring Chris on 6 months into the year and be like, give us an update. Like, what's going on with, engineering was supposed to be in December. Then we thought it was going to tech preview. We haven't had an update on it in a while. And the blowback is always from the white knight side of the community is like, well, they do the monthly reports and they do these things, and yeah, that's not the same. Like, if you're gonna be public and go up on stage and make these declarations and these I don't want to say promises because they hedge so much, but set expectations for things that are going to come, and then none of that happens, like, there should be some accountability to be like, let's get an update. And it's okay to come out and say like, yeah, we screwed up, we haven't used the tech preview we wanted to, and here are some of the things that are in the way, and this is, we're sorry. Sometimes just hearing we're sorry would go a long way, right? So yeah, I am looking forward to hearing what Benoit has to say. Like Jared said, he's going to give an update to some of the stuff he talked about in February, so that will be good. I think they need to do more of that. Like, in this year of like very little content from Jared, like, why are we not bringing in some of the heads and talking about these very big issues? So I'm totally fine with the audio team coming in. I feel like in this case, it would have been better to have Benoit come in first, give us some like solid updates on where we stand this year, and then bring in the fluff with the audio team. Because this stuff is all great, but like, let's be real. None of us are frustrated with playing the game right now because of anything to do with audio, right? We're frustrated playing the game because core systems don't work. We're frustrated with the, progress in stability and playability not being quite what we expected. We're frustrated that we were supposed to be seeing features continue development through the tech preview channel, and that hasn't happened. We're frustrated. I don't really care about engineering because I don't think it's gonna be that great, but it is a little frustrating that we were supposed to get that in December. It's still not here, and we've heard really nothing substantial about it. So that's my perspective. This was a really good SCL. It's definitely a bit of fluff, but it was good to hear these guys. I think Simon is amazing. I say promote him up the ladder. Like, Simon, get someone else under Simon that can do his job, and get Simon up the ladder, because the way his perspective is on the audio side of things should be Sig's perspective in all the departments. Yeah, I would love to see this guy have as much influence on the game as possible, based on what he shared today. And I love his vibe. He's got like this old Sea Dog vibe to him. So, I think he just came straight from hunting Moby Dick, and now he's here working at SIG on Star Citizen. So that's going to do it for this portion. But let me know your thoughts. What did you think of SCL? What do you think of Simon? What do you think of, the focus on this SCL being audio? And what are you looking forward to in an update from Benoit? And be sure to leave comments, leave a follow, leave a share, leave a like, all the stuff. Help the channel out, and we'll see you next time. Okay, I'm still here, guys. That was just, I am going to record I'm going to be posting that later to YouTube. Batbot, sorry for ignoring you, and thank you so much for jumping in if you're still here. I was just trying to record that, and I will be editing that later and sort of making it a little more succinct. But yeah, really good SCL today. Was really good to see. And let me switch my scene back. I think with that, I am going to close things out. So thanks for some viewers and some chatters we had today. And let's see, today's Thursday. I'll probably be on later tonight in about 5 or 6 hours from now, but I'm going to take a break, get some work done, and jump back on later in the evening.